Hey everyone, it's Jordan at the Music Zoo. I have a whole crew here. Mr. Tom Colletti, Mr. Dale Wilson, Mr. Andy Hicks, both from the Fender Custom Shop. Masterbuilders, you guys are some of the most talented builders we've ever worked with here at the Music Zoo. The reason everyone is here is because tonight we have a Fender Custom Shop roadshow with some friends from Jackson Custom Shop. And so thank you for flying across the country.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for like 48 hours.
Yes.
Let's start. Let's talk about how all the cool thing. Let's talk about Ultimate Relics. Both of you are excellent at what you do. What's your take on the Ultimate Relic and maybe Relic Guitars as a whole? We'll start with big internet comments
which
right away.
Yeah, which happens to be, at least for our Instagram feeds, is a love and hate thing.
Oh, sure.
So yeah,
of course.
Would love to hear your concepts or your thoughts on it.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about love and hate, I mean, I get that people, that people like what they like. They don't have to like relics. They are not going anywhere. I mean, if I just look at my order book, it doesn't matter what people say, how often people tell me, oh, Fender needs to stop making these. If I stop making relics, I'm not making guitars anymore. That's what people order. I don't choose.
We're all out of jobs.
Yeah. So, they're just not going to disappear. I just came back from an event in Japan where I thought maybe that market was going to be more geared towards, cleaner, vintage, correct guitars. And no, they just want the heavy relics everywhere we go. So they're not going to disappear. I love them. I like doing a NOS guitar also, but it adds a cool vibe. And if we're not making stuff to be cool, what is the point of all of this? So it's the rule of cool, and they're cool, so we make them.
I'm taking that. That's great.
I love them too, obviously. Most of my order base are heavy relics, ultimate relics, or just relics. But we make all the different levels, and what sells the most? I mean, what sells for you guys the most? Ultimate relics,
absolutely,
heavy relics,
yeah.
ultimate relics, and I always see comments that say, this could never happen, that could never happen. I have a catalog of photos that prove of vintage guitars that it indeed has happened, like over and over and over again. So, and there's some of my favorite. I only pick the guitars to that inspire me, and that are good looking to in my catalog to reference, and I have a lot of them. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of old guitars that kind of they're heavily worn, not relic, but they're not so good looking. So I love them. I love doing them. It's a process for me. I spend quite a lot of time on each guitar. Whether it's how it's sanded, how it's painted, how many layers of paint are on the body or the neck, the hardware, the pick guards, everything is treated. It's not just a guitar that we beat up.
Drag behind your car on the way home. You wish it was just that easy.
That never happens.
I wish it was that easy.
It's weird. The techniques that we use a lot of times will be we'll have to add the hard key marks afterwards, because it makes no sense if there are not hard key marks on the wood. Because so the rash for me, the actual damage to the wood is always done last. Everything else is like I'm very careful, or try to be as careful as possible as to where I'm removing, paint and cracking and, aging and all that.
Right, because you're trying to tell a story with the relic pattern.
Exactly.
Right, and it sounds, I'm sure, I'm rolling my eyes, I'm sorry, that like people would be like, we could all try to have some imagination. Maybe the player who put the wear into this guitar wore a spiky bracelet. Maybe they were a punk. Maybe they had a crazy cowboy belt buckle, right? And so isn't the goal, right, as a builder to like envision that and put that into the guitar?
So I don't know about Andy, but I have a theory that, like, people always say like Rory Gallagher had acidic sweat,
right?
Or Stevie Ray Vaughan. This is just what I think, and it's probably wrong, but I think they put their guitars in the cases wet, and then they closed the cases and went to the next show. They didn't like necessarily, and then it just stewed in that wetness, in that sweat, because they both perspired quite a bit till the next gig, you know what I mean? And then they got the guitar out and did it. I mean, Mike Campbell's guitar, you've seen the fretboard on that, how it just is this globbed with, and he doesn't want that cleaned off. And I think it's kind of the same with heavy touring musicians that are just going from one place to another. They put it away wet, so it's not necessarily even, buckle rash or them hitting it on something, which it is, of course, that. But on top of that, it's just the paint getting loosened over time, sitting in a case
the paint,
with water.
The sweat gets through the checking, the natural checking of because we're talking about vintage guitars, so it's lacquer paint. It checks, the sweat seeps in through that, and then kind of festers underneath there. So the reason, your belt is, it's not that your belt is like a particularly spiky belt or like a bracelet or something that's particularly spiky. It's just that it's more like abrasive than like jeans or whatever, and because the paint is now hanging on for dear life because it's had this water underneath the finish, something like that is just going to take it off. It doesn't have to be
gotcha, understood.
Like
that makes sense.
So you
We're kind of into this stuff.
No,
it's
totally.
wacky, it's crazy.
And so now you leave a gig and you're in New York and it's 25 degrees, let's say.
Right, that's right.
So now it's in a tour bus or on a truck somewhere, and now it's all of that moisture and sweat is kind of
really
freezing.
cold. Now you're going through.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the way this stuff kind of happens.
And if you look at some of the if you look at some of the checking, it'll have the checking and there's the bleed through, like it almost looks like there's oil in the checking and then running under the finish. I think that's exactly what it is.
As guitar dealers, I think part of our thing here too is as we get these guitars with less finish on them, they speak a little bit more. They're a little bit more expressive. They're more resonant when whether you're sitting down and holding a guitar and it's just more resonant in your lap. And we started to notice that early on in the relicing process, right? So the original relicing was a Closet Classic and then Relic. Was that it? Was it the two?
That's about right. Like a Relic used to be a Closet Classic. It was just like Galaxy Strats all the way through, not too much.
Yeah.
And then got to tap ourselves on the back here. But what we had done is gone internally into Fender and said, hey, we want the most relic guitar that you could do. And we had worked with John Cruz at the time to get to the point where it was just over the top. And we did use the Stevie Ray as an example and said, we sort of want a Stevie Ray, only we want to be able to make it in different colors and offer different finishes to customers that want that wear, and the same thing with the neck. And we're guilty. It was us. It was the ultimate relic. Was
I remember Jason Smith also. You guys using Jason Smith quite
Jason
a bit.
Was a really
with very heavy.
Built some of the first.
Yeah. So every once in a while, when I see a different dealer use Ultimate Relic, I cringe a little bit because that was our that was the name we actually thought about it. But like, what could it possibly be? Because we just it just kept going. Right?
Yeah. The famous line on the Traveler is removed 90% of the finish.
The first time I saw that, I had to call you. I was like,
and
what?
He
what
DMs me. He's like, what the hell does remove 80% of the finish? And I'm like, just go buck wild, man. But like, I think that is really fun too, because like, we love and we trust you guys to like, just like be artists, like make cool shit, because we want to get excited about it and we want to be excited to show it to our guitar playing customers.
Yeah. And I think for us too is most of the time is exactly that, is just do what you want to do, unless it's for a customer that has custom ordered a guitar from us and they have a very specific list of things that they want. It's usually artistic freedom from, at least from us. That's what we want the most from you guys, you artists.
I think another aspect that makes relic guitars so popular with people is the fact that by the very nature of the process that we do to make a relic guitar, it's instantly a one-of-one instrument. So if you order a three-tone burst from me and you want it to be NOS, that's cool, and I'll definitely make that. There are thousands of those that exist, and I mean, thousands that I've made, and then through the history of Fender, there's endless brand new looking 3-tone sunbursts out there. If I make a relic for you, they're all unique. We're not following a pattern or anything. We do all of this by hand, and we're kind of making it up as we go along because we're thinking about like, okay, that part of it looks cool. Now, how do I tie in the rest of the instrument to fit this thing that I've done? And at the end, it's a singular, unique paint experience or finish on the instrument. And I mean, when we walked into the store today, I looked across the shop. The first guitar I saw was a Jason Smith Ultimate Relic Telecaster, and it's not just that I knew it was Jason's. I knew exactly which one that was because
that's awesome. Yeah,
they stand out from piece to piece. So it's a way of getting a guitar that is unique to just you. And I think people who are wanting to step up and get a custom shop instrument, that becomes very enticing.
That's cool too. I think you just brought up a great point that you all have your own specific ways of doing things. Like, I think I've done this long enough, I'm sure you have too. Like, I would know if I saw Dale. I would know if I've seen Andy's. I definitely know Jason's because I've seen so many since I first started working here. You all have like your signature moves, and I love it because it's so cool. And that's cool for the customer too, to like pick out, I really like the way Andy does next, or the way Dale finishes like a bridge or something like that. I don't know. It's just fun. There's so many options. It's great.
I was going to go back to what you guys were talking about, giving us creative freedom. I've done so many things that aren't necessarily on the Traveler just because I thought it was. And
yeah, I love that.
I don't
It's
think
great.
twice about doing that with you guys because I know you can explain it to the customer. You know what I mean? And that and that it's not going to be in question. With some people, we can't do that. We have to stick to the Traveler.
Totally.
But we appreciate that, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Love it.
It's freedom. It's creative freedom for us to just, like you said, go hog wild.
That's awesome. Let's move on from relics because I think I'm sure the comments are going crazy. But let's talk about some iconic Fender guitars. What are each of your favorite iconic Strats? Like, my favorite is John Frusciante's 62 Strat. Like, what are your guys' like heroes? What's your favorite Fender of all time? Is that a crazy question?
Definitely number one. Yeah,
Fender.
Steve Ray Vaughan's Strat.
Stevie's.
Yeah.
You got one, Tommy?
Easy.
For me?
Yeah. What's your favorite Fender of all time?
Oh my God. Like I get into collector mode and I start thinking about like the snakehead
Yeah.
telly, and I think
pretty iconic.
things like that come to mind for me. So you guys will love to hear this, and this is where the internet's really gonna explode. I am one of the people that feel that you guys are creating better guitars than 99% of the vintage guitars. And this is
He
a
said
debate.
it.
This is a debate, and all my vintage friends right now are cursing at me and giving me the finger on their phone or whatever. But it's true, because we get vintage guitars in here, and they're wonderful, and there's some that speak to you, and there's some that don't, and there's way more inconsistency with vintage guitars, and sometimes the clean, untouched, beautiful vintage guitar that comes in, it's like that for a reason, because it never got loved, because it's really not that great, and it became something that hung in somebody's house, or it sat under the bed because Uncle George had it in the 50s and he never really liked it and he played it and then he died or whatever. But I feel that you guys, with technology and just years of doing this, have gotten to this point where we've hit this new level, and human nature is you don't recognize it until it's gone. Right? So I'm doing this my entire life, but I've had the Music Zoo for 32 years now, and I look at pictures from the store from 25 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, if I only still had that guitar that's on the wall right now. Like, I can't believe what it's worth or how cool it was, and I took it for granted at the time, and I try to recapture those moments, and I think that you guys have taken the whole Fender as a whole and the guitar making community up several notches. And I would, if I had the choice, if I was playing a gig, I would take a Dale guitar or an Andy guitar before I took the vintage guitar, because I know I'm going to rely on it. I know it's actually going to work for me, and I know that I'm not going to have any goofy problems in the middle of a gig
That's
or
a
anything
huge
like that.
compliment.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
And I do feel that you guys have taken it there, and it's going to take unfortunately, because the way we are as humans, we don't recognize things when they're happening at the moment. We recognize them years down the road, and then we realize how fleeting these moments are. But it's a fleeting moment right now, what you guys are doing, and I appreciate it, and I have for years, and I've always felt. That's that's why I wake up every day and do this, is because I still love it so much. But that's my favorite guitars are being made now. So
what salesman? That's great. I'm gonna go buy one now.
Very very long-winded answer, but yeah, my favorite guitars are the guitars now.
Before I say my favorite guitar, I want to speak a little bit to what you just said, and a huge advantage that we have as master builders now, and the way the custom shop is now, is back in the 50s, Leo was creating a guitar that was made to be produced in a specific way so that students and professionals could all play these guitars together. But nobody back in the 50s knew that 70 years later, these instruments would still be sought after. It was made to be a modular thing. Oh, the neck's not good anymore. Throw the neck away, put a new neck on. Mm-hmm. We are making our instruments knowing that the customer who buys this is going to hopefully have that guitar for the rest of their life, and maybe their kids' lives or whatever. So we're making them with that expectation in mind. That's why I've been in a couple of the custom shops at Fender now, and I've seen many vintage instruments. We're doing things that are made to last another 100 years that wasn't really being done in the 50s. Sure. So. And as far as my favorite guitar, it's got it. Back to that. I'm going to get us back on track. Yeah. I started playing guitar because of Kurt Cobain, but I didn't know anything when I was a kid about what his guitar was. I just knew it was a Fender. I saw the logo. I went to the store and I got a 3-tone Sunburst Strat, and I loved that guitar. But the first guitar that ever popped into my brain, and now I can't ever think of Fender without thinking about it, is the Isabella. A very good friend of mine who was also taking guitar lessons with me got one of the production line Isabella copies, and then I started researching that guitar, fell in love with that guitar. It's my favorite Strat that's ever existed, and it was really cool to make one for Dave Navarro last year.
Whoa, that's cool. Yeah. I think I saw that on your Instagram. I was like,
that was a special.
That's wild.
One.
That's a hero.
Probably never doing it again.
Yeah,
it was took some finagling to get allowed to be done, but yeah. So the Isabella, to me, it's just iconic looking.
That's a cool segue too into asking you guys, you guys must have met some of the coolest rock stars in the world. Have you gotten starstruck at anyone, or are you just yeah, man, here's your Strat?
For me, I was working at my bench, and there wasn't many people in the shop, and I was just, my door was open, and I was just, I don't remember what, sanding or something like that. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw somebody walk by and said something like, "Do you know where Chip is?" And I looked, and it was Eddie Van Halen. And I was like, "Fuck." I was like, that's what I said. I was like, no, I don't know where Chip is. Yeah. How's it going?
I was going to say Eddie, too. My Eddie story, it was probably from his same trip. I had been working at Fender. I was in the Jackson Custom Shop initially. And my first job at Jackson was doing all of the fret work on the Wolfgangs, and I had been there for 2 weeks or something, and I'm brand new in the industry, and this guy's looking over my shoulder, and I look, and it's just, it's Eddie Van Halen's here. Do not freak out. He's don't mess up he's looking at the guitar with his name on it, and he's looking over. Just calm down. Hello. Yeah. Very cool. But
Jimmy Page was awesome too, because he was such a cool dude. Yeah. It was that was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah. But I'll tell you another thing is what we really love is the guitars, the Stars guitars. So when Frankenstein came through, that for me, that was just it was, God, I don't want to say, it was just it was on par with meeting Eddie Van Halen, because that was such a big part. He was such a big part, but that was such a big. It's hard to separate them, but that guitar was such a big part of my childhood. Growing up, just seeing that guitar and just and holding that thing and just seeing all the grime, and it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
That's so cool to hear you guys still geek about this. So because we do it too here. It's yo, did you hear Rose took in this crazy Les Paul? Go check it out. Thomas took in this P bass. We're all like running to each other's offices and
that's
shit.
what we
like,
do
you guys
also,
get to see like the dragon.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Page's dragon. You're like, oh, Paul's got the dragon out. Do you guys get to like G chat each other?
Oh yeah, Paul works across from my bench or from my office. His office is right across from me, and periodically he'll have some cool artist guitar like the John Frusciante. When it was in his office, when the real one was there, he's just like looks at me. He's like, "Come here for a second," and I get to come in. And like, holy cow! And he's like, "Don't freak out! Like,
Don't
we
Instagram
can't
it.
have a line here of
Yeah.
like people trying to see it, but come check this out."
Like almost like Spinal Tap moments.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, don't even look
sick.
at it anymore.
And Paul was cool enough to do that around the whole shop, just in so everybody got to kind of check it out.
That's really, really cool. Yeah. What do you guys love working on the most besides like our crazy Ultimate Relics? What like really like keeps you creatively going?
I'm sorry, but I love making a new guitar look old. It was so intimidating when I first started doing it. It's like you have this brand new guitar in front of you, and you're supposed to make it look like an old guitar. And it was very hard. I mean, to learn, I had to almost get freed from thinking I'm going to mess it up. You know what I mean? But when I first started doing it, but relicking, whether it's hardware, the paint, whatever it is, all the way through, I love doing that. Yeah,
That's awesome. I mean, I think you've mastered it. We can't keep them in
See,
stock.
I don't think so. My thing is it's never good enough, because when a vintage guitar comes through, it's just like the difference is night and day, and it's like I haven't arrived yet. I haven't done it yet. So I think we're all kind of hard on ourselves as far as our builds. So it's never going to be like, oh, okay, it's perfect. There are guitars that I finish and I go, this is awesome. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's even with that. If there was a vintage one right next to it, I'd be like, I have so far to go.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's great. Amazing.
Yeah, learning a new or attempting a new part of a build and working with the guys that we get to work with, it's constantly being humbled and then pushing yourself to try to do something that is outside your comfort zone, and then getting unlocking that skill and being like, oh, I think I've figured a little bit of this out. That's always really exciting. But to not say the same thing as Dale, I mean, I love making guitars for the dealers, but the times where I get to actually talk to somebody who's going to receive the guitar, and pick their brain a little bit, and get it's that moment of, okay, I'm shipping this now. I know that it's actually going to a person, and then eventually hearing back from that person is always really cool. Still, like that's never going to get old.
Yeah.
It's got to be interesting to be. We've been to the shop so many times, and all your offices are basically next to each other, and we're talking as this is art, right? So now you're creating this art next to someone else who's also an artist. So you imagine Jackson Pollock or somebody like that that's like downs a pint of booze and just goes into his
That's how you guys do it?
Yeah.
just
How did you know?
Right, and just like you have not only
Same.
the creative freedom, but you're by yourself. You have your own like little safe zone, where the guy next door isn't just as legit as you. It's like so much pressure. It's almost like being in a writing, like songwriting house, where like the guy next to you is writing "Let It Be" and you're trying to come up with a good song. It's like, do you think about that? Do you think like, what's Todd gonna think across the hall?
Todd will tell you. You don't
He
have to,
will, right?
Yeah.
Not shy.
It's it pushes us. It's good. I mean, there's times where I'm thinking like, this is pretty good. I think I'm happy with this, especially when I was new to the custom shop and still really like figuring out my style that I wanted to do. And then you okay, I'm done with this guitar. Put it down. You walk around a little bit and see what everybody else is doing. And it's like, okay, I got to go back and work on this a little bit more, or fine tune this skill a little bit, because you're surrounded by guys who are, all incredible, and no matter how, like, everybody in the shop is better than you at something in the guitar building process. So there's nobody in there who's like the best dude at the whole thing. and everybody knows like who in the shop does something better than them, and but that pressure doesn't come from the other builders. That's all internal. We all are pushing ourselves to get better at the parts that we know we can be better at, because we're surrounded by 11 other dudes who are the best guitar makers in the whole world. So it's stressful, but it's also like a fun challenge, and it's also exciting because if you like guitar, obviously we like guitars for making them, and besides from making cool guitars, we're surrounded by guys who are making really cool guitars. It's a hard job to beat. Yeah, it's a dope job.
That's really cool. You guys, I mean, I don't know if I have anything else. You guys are just like, do you have anything else to add?
I could talk to you guys forever.
We could talk forever. We have the road show tonight, so we're getting ready for that. But yeah, you guys are just like facilitators of like people's like dream instruments and the way they make music. So yeah, you guys change people's lives in like more ways than one, and we really appreciate working with you guys, and we can't wait to see what we do next, because
thank you very much.
It's a collaboration. We have some weird idea at 2 a.m. What if we text each other and then we're like, oh yeah, Andy or Dale or Jason or Todd or any of those dudes could do it. Yeah, let's make it happen.
It's good stuff.
It's a cool community where, we're making art. You guys have a vision. We're trying to make that, and then it ends up in the hands of somebody who's also making art. And like, what's better than art being created? Nothing. Like as soon as human beings existed, we were making music, trying to make art. It's a cool business to be in. I'm happy to be doing it with you guys because you guys have cool ideas. Yep. I like making them, and then I like seeing the people who get them make cool music with it.
Can I just tell one more story?
Absolutely.
I don't know how the apprentices are now, but when I was an apprentice, when Paul and I were apprentices, it was you wanted to build for the music zoo, and so I you guys got one of my guitars. It was a hardtail Strat Relic, of course, but man, it sat here for so long, and I was like, man, they're never going to order from me again. But the thought behind this is, you guys look at us and go, oh, thank you for doing what you do, but thank you for doing what you guys do too, because it inspires us to push to get guitars to the music zoo. You know what I mean? I mean, it was a goal for me to have guitars at your store. I mean, and I'm not just saying
Thanks,
that.
I appreciate
It's like
that.
there are other stores like you that we want our guitars to go to, but it's not always easy to get our guitars into certain stores, and so it's a pleasure to build for you.
There's
guys.
12 guys in the shop who want their guitars at the store.
Thanks. I appreciate
and
that.
it's the truth. It really is.
I mean, it's without getting overly corny, this is
Yeah.
it's been passionate. It's a passion.
Yeah,
And
totally.
these guys know it here that like I'm a very emotional person, and I live and breathe it, and I take it home with me, and so like I appreciate you guys saying that, and I do everything I can to kind of spread the word, and I still wake up every day wanting to do this and talk about guitars and geek out on stuff, and and it's fun.
Yeah.
So thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure enough.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
This was great.
Thanks.
Before we all start crying and high-fiving, thank you everyone for watching. Fender Custom Shop and Masterbuilt Guitars at themusiczoo.com. If you have your own ideas for Fender Custom Shop guitars, the entire sales team knows everything about them. We can help you out, make your dreams come true. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.